Shikues nderuar, kthehemi përsëri me zotin Joseph Dioguardi në bisedë. Do të bëj një pyetje e cila ka të bëjë me jetën e personave që kanë dhënë dhe vazhdojnë të japin kontribute këtu në Shtetet e Bashkuara të Amerikës. Kanë ndryshuar rrethanat, por para shumë viteve nuk kanë qenë kështu si janë sot.
It's understandable that if you're born in the Balkans, you might be afraid to talk against the government, because we saw, take Enver Hoxha, if you said something wrong, somebody would report you. I was not raised that way. I was raised in America to think that anything is possible, and I say that my optimism and my upbringing was such that I was never afraid to do something I believed in. And I always felt that if you believe in something, that you owe it not only to yourself, but you owe it to the people that need you to speak up. And that's what I have done. But maybe the better question was not going on TV. Why did I go to Belgrade? Why did I go to Kosovo when the tanks were on the street? Why did I go to Macedonia for the referendum in 1992 for the autonomy when I knew the police, they even arrested me, because I felt maybe like Martin Luther King. Why did Martin Luther King go across the bridge when they said, if you do this, we have the dogs after you and you could be shot? Because he had a dream. When you have a dream, and the Albanians gave me a dream. I was just a businessman, I get elected to Congress, and now I find out I have this beautiful Albanian history, maybe for several thousand years, even in Roman times, but just going back to the 15th century with George Castriati, I was so moved by this history that I started to dream about doing something important for the Albanian people. When you have a dream, as someone said, you can shoot the dreamer, but you cannot kill the dream. So if I do the right things, even if someone does something to me, someone else is going to continue doing that. And, you know, maybe it's part of my religion too. I am a Roman Catholic, and Catholics are people who understand that even when things are tough, you have to sacrifice. And I'm someone who believes that you can't sacrifice for nothing. You got to sacrifice for something big. And if I can continue my work to free the Albanian people from this legacy of World War I, where they were unfairly divided, put into 6 different countries, and give them this sense that they are a nation, Komtar, which is what I'm trying to do, even if we can't change the borders. No one says it's going to be easy, but the borders are going to mean nothing in 20 years. Europe is going to be together. It's going to be a different kind of place. So let's now work with the Albanian people to let them think like a nation. They have the same language. They're on the Albanian ancestral lands, same traditions, same culture. So why shouldn't 7 million Albanians, even though they're in Macedonia, Prisheva, Montenegro, Northern Greece, Kosovo, Albania, think like a nation? They are one nation. So that's my next challenge. So I'm dreaming. I continue to dream. So you could shoot the dreamer, and if they do, in my case, they better have a good shot, because I'm moving very fast.
Unë të falenderoj shumë për mesazhin e mirë që solle, kuptim plot dhe veçanërisht për brezat e rinj.
And I should say one more thing. I mentioned Martin Luther King. Remember what he said. If there is injustice anywhere, justice is threatened everywhere. So if you don't stop injustice here, then it moves all around. So I think I'm stopping it for the Albanians, and hopefully people will benefit from that.
Faleminderit, Zoti Joseph Dioguardi, juve keni qenë i pari që e keni mbrojtur në Kongresin Amerikan UÇK-n si një organizim të vërtet ushtarake të popullit dhe të ndershme nga abuzimet e tjera. Cili ka qenë roli i saj?
UÇK was important because it was from the people that this army was developed. This was not a state-run army. This was a citizen defense force, much like 240 years ago in America when we had the army of George Washington, the Minutemen, then the army of George Washington going against King George III of England, the biggest power in the world. You had the colonial army, and we became independent. Utica was a defense force because Milosevic was killing the people in their homes. So I needed to defend and raise this issue, and it was surely in a hearing in 1998 when Ambassador Gelbart says that Utica was a terrorist organization. It wasn't. That was not correct. And we corrected him. Mr. Gilman made sure we gave him the information to correct him, and he said that was a mistake because it was not listed as a terrorist organization. So we had to do a lot to make sure that the Serbian propaganda machine did not criminalize the Utica because we thought it was from the people that this army came to protect the people. Now, I hope that I have Albanians to follow me. And I think many times what George Castriati said, that when he had a lot of people to support him, what did he say in Albanian? And I saw it in the room last night in St. Paul's Church. 3 meter me shok shum. So I need a lot of friends so I can feel even stronger and braver to do what I am doing.
Faleminderit për këto shpjegime kuptim plote edhe për këto mesazhe që sillni në këtë bisedë. Shumë njerëz, edhe veçanërisht brezat e ri, janë skeptik ose nuk e kuptojnë ashtu si duhet situatën që ka ndodhur më parë për çështjen e Kosovës. Në çfarë raport qëndron kontributi i diasporës dhe makina e shtetit amerikan që mori përsipër për të sjellë pavarësinë e Kosovës, pasi shpesh shumë njerëz thonë se këtë e ka bërë qyteti amerikan, që vërtet e ka bërë, por mohojnë ose nuk e vlerësojnë rolin e diasporës që i ka dhënë informacione shtetit amerikan për genocidin, për reprezalen, për dhunën që kishin shqiptarët dhe mohimin e drejtave që kishin shqiptarët në Kosovë.
The message is that the State Department does not get everything right. We've had many bad policies that we had to correct. And I saw the policy that was anti-Albanian when I was in Congress as wrong because they were listening to Tanjug in Belgrade and nobody was speaking for the Albanian people until I discovered that I had this Albanian roots, and the Albanian people then educated me about how bad they were being treated. Here I am, activist in the 1980s for the black people in South Africa, apartheid. I was against, Reagan. He wanted sanctions. And he said he was against the sanctions. But I was saying to myself that we need the sanctions to save these black people in South Africa. The Soviet Jews were being persecuted. I was making sure that we brought that message to the American people that the Soviet Union had to not hurt those Soviet Jews who wanted freedom. So it was natural for me to bring the issue of the Albanian people to the Congress because we were already doing all these things to educate the State Department. So I have to end by saying you can't assume that everything that the government says and everything that the State Department does is correct. Maybe sometimes they get the wrong information. That's the difference between communism and American democracy. Because in democracy, it's we the people. That's where our Constitution starts. It doesn't start we the government or we the party. It's we the people. So the whole basis of our system here is the voice of the people. So that if you're in Congress or you're out of Congress, you can play a role. And more citizens, even though they don't have the title, can be active. Look at me, I have no title. I'm an activist, I'm an advocate, and I'm making things happen because I am talking to the people in Congress that are powerful, and they're saying, let's have a hearing. And then people get the facts, and they're saying, maybe Dioguardi's right. Maybe we have to change this position. And now we're going to talk more about Preševa, and they're going to see that the Serbs are lying. The worst people in Europe being treated right now are the people of Preševa. They don't have the education in their language. There's no university there for them. The books are at the border in Albanian. They don't let them through. No jobs. And they want all the rights for the Serbs in northern Kosovo. And Taci wants to give it to them. This is wrong. And you will see me and Shirley speak out against that to wake up the State Department. This is not right.
Faleminderit shumë, Joseph Dioguardi. Një nga mekanizmat e fuqishëm që ju keni përdorur për të ndihmuar në aktivitetin tuaj mbar kombëtar shqiptar ka qenë dhe Liga Qytetare Amerikano-Shqiptare që ju keni krijuar 25 vjet më parë. Në çfarë thana është krijuar Liga dhe çka ka qenë roli i saj në këtë kontribut që ju keni dhënë për çështjen shqiptare?
Well, you need to have support in America. You cannot do everything if people do not support you. How do they support you? Well, when we want to make a big statement in Washington, we could have a protest with 10,000 people like we did in 1990 and later for Uchika. In fact, it was a little bit later. I think it was 1995, 96, 97. We had these big protests. But you also need to have financial support because you have to travel. For me to go to Europe, I need to raise the money. The government doesn't give me the money to travel to Europe, to go to Kosovo. I have to go to the Albanian people. Do you want me and Shirley to see what's going there and to make some statement in the press, the Albanian press? Of course they do. So we have to raise the money for that. This is what we call non-governmental organizations, NGOs. There are many in America. This is the basis of democracy in America. Alexis de Tocqueville saw it in 1836. He wrote the book, Democracy in America. He was impressed not with the government, not with the economy. He was impressed with the people organizing in the communities as activists to change things at the local level. And that's what I'm doing today, and that is permitted in America. But you have forms that you got to file. If you take money from the people, you got to make those documents so that they know what you're doing. And we do this. And thank God I'm an accountant and I do all this.
Juve keni qenë këtu në Michigan, keni marrë pjesë në festimin e komunitetit shqiptar që ju bëri juve me rastin e ditëlindjes tuaj dhe të bashkëshortes tuaj, po njëkohësisht edhe me rastin e marrjes çmimit Thank You, po ashtu edhe të 25 vjetorit të Ligës. Cili është mendimi juaj për degën e Ligës së Michiganit?
It was wonderful. Shumë bukur. It was so good to see so many people come out in St. Paul's Hall yesterday for my birthday, 75, Shirley's birthday, 65, and the anniversary of the league, 25. It shows me that the people do care about what I am doing for the Albanian people, even though I don't have a title, I'm not a congressman, I'm not a senator, I'm not in the State Department, but they came out because they believe that what I did was important enough that maybe I can do more. And I was very happy, first, to get the thank you for my birthday, and for Shirley's birthday, and for the anniversary of the league. And I appreciated the vote that you took that says that I was the number 3 Albanian, and that's beautiful. So I can only say that this gave me more inspiration to do now even better. And our chapter here is a effective chapter because we have 2 board members. We have Marsha Tsulay, Zef Derevanaj, and we have a new board member coming on, Fran Jokai. And these 3 people are the ones that did, mainly Fran and Marish, but we have a lot of support also from Zef Derevanaj. And I think now that people saw what you did with the speech with Milosevic and Dioguardi, and they saw what I did at the hearing with the Serbian Congresswoman, Helen Delic-Bentley, and they heard the good speeches from the 2 priests, from Marish, from the new ambassador from Albania, Mrs. Filaretta Faba. She must have married, he must have been Jewish way back because he doesn't, he's Albanian, but he has this name that's mainly a Jewish name. And all those great speeches, and Anton Lajčaj did a great job. You did a wonderful job. So I am very pleased, and I'm very proud of the Albanian people. Unë jam krana që jam shqiptaro Amerikan.
Faleminderit, edhe koha për 3 këngë tjera.